This is Get Your Goddess Groove On Radio. When the goddess speaks, everyone listens with me, Laura Hosford. Do you feel like life is a mystery to be solved? That you must stand alone in this life? Listen deeply, beloved soul, and hear my call. I am your waking inner goddess speaking to you. I am here to call you home and activate your deepest prayer inside of you. As an emissary for the goddess, I offer you authentic channel messages of love, inspiration, and heart-healing grace to guide you forward in transcending your consciousness and becoming the change you wish to see in the world. Now get ready and join me as we get your goddess groove on right now. Hello, beautiful goddesses, and welcome to the Get Your Goddess Groove On radio show. This is a live show today with live participants and speakers, and so super excited to have you here today with us, whether you're live or on the replay. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. We do value your time. We do appreciate you being here with us to co-create this beautiful container here in the Get Your Goddess Groove On community. And when the goddess speaks, everyone listens. So let's get started now. And I'd like to introduce our beautiful speaker today, Brenda Lainof. And Brenda has been with us before. This is not her first rodeo with us today, you might say. And I'm really excited to bring Brenda back to our shows. Let me just introduce Brenda here and we'll get started. So Brenda Lainof is an intuitive guide and business coach. She assists in clearing negative emotions, chronic health conditions, emotional, mental self-sabotage. And once she intuits what is creating unease in your body, Brenda energetically works with you to dissolve that unease, disease, and low frequency vibration. There are also many health issues, whether long-term, low-level reoccurring ailments that may have a root cause and a variety of issues at a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological, and at psychic levels that Brenda can tune into. So if you've tried everything through traditional medical channels, working with other healers or alternative health cures, then chances are using any of the modalities in combination with light language, which is another powerful healing tool that Brenda uses, along with her knowledge of the emotion code that you just recently were certified in, Brenda.
It was actually the belief code. I've been an emotion code and body code practitioner for about 12 years.
Okay, so
So
this
this
is
is
something
just
new.
this is brand new with Dr. Bradley Nelson that I got certified in when I was in Mexico.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'd love to learn more about that. So welcome, Brenda, to our show. The title of our show today and the topic that we're going to be learning from our beautiful goddess expert here, Brenda, is boundaries, health, and business. There are several factors that can mentally block individuals from achieving healthy, prosperous business. Perhaps factors such as a fear of failure, negative self-beliefs, lack of clarity, or lack of resilience. And addressing these mental hidden beliefs often requires tapping into the subconscious, intuiting what is in the way. Questions such as, was it absorbed? Are you sharing these beliefs unknowingly? So we're going to be doing a deep dive today into this beautiful topic. So please get comfortable and get ready for a jam-packed show today. And I want to welcome everyone. And also in the chat box, you'll find a couple of links. So you'll find the link to the Get Your Goddess Groove On community. If you're not a member of our community and you would like to join us, it is free to sign up and receive offerings and bonuses and opportunities to support you in your priestess, goddess journey to shine your priestess light. I also have Brenda's email or website, sorry, her website information in there as well for you to connect with Brenda. So let's go ahead and get started. And Brenda, welcome to the show. And maybe we could dive into a little bit about what's been going on with you. And you were just sharing with me your beautiful travels and moves and how this has been influencing and teaching you about holding better boundaries. So we'll dive right in.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it. I know we haven't spoken for a while here, I guess. I can't remember. Maybe it was a year ago or so, but I do appreciate that. And I'll just give some people a little bit of background. I'm Canadian, and during the COVID times, I just thought what it will be great to just experience what it's like to live out of Canada for a period of time. So as soon as we could, after going through some challenges, we about a year ago, we actually got into our car and we just drove across the border and we were in the USA, Arizona, which we have spent years off and on. So very comfortable. I really like Arizona. It feels like a second home. So we spent 3 months there, but my intention was to go to Mexico. Now, I've been there as a tourist a few times. I've lived in a few other countries, such as Kazakhstan and such as Bolivia decades ago. And I really wanted to live again, not just the 2 weeks at a hotel doing all the tours. I wanted to live it. I wanted to be in a neighborhood. And so we had that experience. And it was good to get out of Canada for me to see how things feel. And having to look in from the outside, it was a good education. And I came back to Canada here just recently, getting settled in a city called Medicine Hat, which is in Alberta, Canada. So we just moved here. If you hear a little bit of the echoey, I apologize. That's at my end. It's a vacant room, and I realize I need to get some things to absorb the sound. So I apologize for that today. We're still in the process of getting set up. So I just want to mention, like, when the whole boundary came in very clear to me this last year, and I won't get into particular incidences as to why that happened, but I do realize that it's essential. And maybe people are not really wanting to look at it, or maybe people don't want to recognize how not having assertive, strong boundaries affects every aspect of their life. And it really hasn't been until the last maybe 2 years max that I feel like, okay, I think I got it. I slip at times, but I think I got it. And it's that energy and that power. I want every woman and man to feel and to know and to own it. Like you're owning it. When you're walking down the street, you are owning your power. It's important, and it's going to be more and more important up and coming times. That's what I love to talk about. I have 30 years approximately corporate background. So I worked corporate as well. And in that time period, I had a lot of physical ailments. I just had cardiac arrest, came very close to losing me from a procedure. It was supposed to be like a day procedure. 2019 just about crossed over twice through a hard accident that they uncovered a tumor in my adrenal gland that required another surgery. So I've had my surgery times, and I'm here today. 3 times I came extremely close just in surgeries to be here. So I do want to help empower people. You think about things that have happened in the past, and I know intuitively you were supposed to be there at that time to have that experience so that you can share it. and may have been really rough. But unless you go through these times, then how can people relate to you? So I wanted to talk about the various things that we can block us from having a healthy, prosperous business, and obviously as to our health as well. But I'm looking more to the boundaries as to our business is what's really calling me today. And then getting to a clearing in a bit after I talk about some of the main factors that can block us from having a healthy, prosperous business. So if you want to, Laura, I'll just
Yeah.
continue with that.
Yeah, let's just jump into. I'd love to hear more about you were sharing with me before the show that you were in Mexico, I think you said, and for a while, and you were in Mexico City for about a month, and then you moved and you were in another location there in Mexico, and you were talking about how loud Mexico has become. It sounds like they have a lot of construction going on, a lot of building going on, or different things going on. And it felt like that was something that was a good lead into about boundaries. How did you manage that? How did you work with that, being a sensitive and intuitive and going into that type of environment? Is that what you were meaning, or was it something different?
I do want to say we all have our own cultural, and this is nothing negative about Mexico.
Hmm.
It is a noisy country, that is true, and it doesn't matter, I think, for the most part, where, but that's okay. That's their culture. And I know there's a lot of, I've been hearing recently backlash about Canadians, Americans going to Mexico and expecting them to the Mexicans to adjust to, can you just reduce the noise, etc. And we're in somebody else's country. When you're in somebody else's country,
Hmm.
um, we need to adjust with what is happening and as to that culture, and no different than any country in the world. And of course, we're looking for equal respect when people come to our countries.
Hmm.
So I just want to make that clear. It was difficult in the sense that I am very sensitive, and there are times really I don't want to be so sensitive to sound, but it's part of being an empath. It's almost like I can't control that. But what it brought out in me when I felt that, okay, this has gone over, this is disrespectful in some situations, of coming out as a woman in that culture and saying this is not acceptable. And I just had to do it a few times.
Hmm.
Yeah, in the apartment building that I was living in.
Hmm.
And I think it took people back a little bit that are not from, I'm going to say Canada. I'm not going to say you Canada because I'm Canadian. I think it can take it back. And I feel that women really need, women's energies need to rise throughout the world. We need to take our power back. And I can see it starting to happen. Sorry, this is a brand new thing. I just not wanting to stay in my little eardrum. But we need to take our power back. And I can see where movement is picking up throughout the world.
Hmm.
And it's a good thing. It's really interesting to watch at my age, of being a baby boomer, how younger women are stepping up and they're saying, no, I don't want this. This is not what I want. This is my body, etc. They're kind of picking up after when I entered the workforce, single mom, raising a child on my own, discrimination as a single mom in the workforce. It was really tough. I can see there's been so many changes over the years, and I'm glad that there's a new movement of energy for women to stand up. But there's also the
Absolutely.
backlash of that. So we're really in a spiritual awakening, this happening. And this is again where we need to get stand in our power. We need and not cast my eyes down because someone's walking along the street and trying to intimidate me. That
Absolutely.
was that's really important that be done. Anyways, I just
Totally agree with you. And back to your when you were sharing about the different places you lived in Arizona and in Mexico, we're not picking on Mexico because to me, there's
right.
in the United
Yeah, it's
States, they're very noisy places. And even in my travels, it was interesting because when I went to the south of France in June of 2017, so we were in Paris for a few days. And of course, Paris is a very large city, lots of people, lots of noise, lots of energy, very fast pace. Um, not very different from where I grew up in Atlanta. And I was used to that pace. But what was interesting when I went to the south of France into the small villages, oh my goodness, the total pace of life was totally flipped. People were very a lot a lot quieter in the villages. You didn't have this fast pace going on. And it was really interesting how I noticed that through my observation. And it was like, wow, I had to slow down my energy, slow down the energy, and come into this new pace, this new way of being with life. And it's when we can slow down and we can really begin to ground into our body. And as we ground into our body, that's where we become empowered. It is we become empowered, we anchor our light, we anchor our soul into this body, and we can really pause and breathe deeply and really get into the body. And to me, that was all part of this. And then as you come into the body, we feel empowered, do we not? To sense that sovereignty where we can actually have the boundaries that we're looking for. We can begin to say, we can get clear on this is for me and that is not for me. There's no judgment involved. It's just this is for me and that's not for me because this is who I am. And so I'd love to discuss what your feelings are, what your experiences are around how we can claim these boundaries and what ways do you help your clients to do that? And do you feel the same that it includes the embodiment piece or what has been your experience?
definitely a cultural issue. So depending on the culture. So the Spanish culture has its own energy in like you're saying in France, and again, depending on the European country and wherever, being grounded obviously is huge. And I believe that we have been as women very disempowered, and we this is conditioning throughout what thousands of years or whatever. No, now's the time. And I just know that there's nowhere to run. There's no place in the world that is perfect. And what I came back with to Canada is, Brenda, you're good. You just do what you're doing. You're good at what you do. And that, and oh, I'm just this. No, I mean that as that I'm good at what I do and own that and help other people because that's what I really love to do. I'm a coach. I know what it's like to work in a male environment for 30 years. I know that. I was there every day. And it's no, I want to help people find out what's going on. And because I am an intuitive and I had these things happen with my health, it's like every time something would happen, it just brought me up a notch. Now, I'm not telling the universe send anymore. I'm quite good with what's happened in the past. I've been challenged and chased by a moose, literally on her acreage. I've been in a mall shooting this last year. I have had some experiences really challenge my boundaries and how I react at the moment. So it's again getting really um, centered. And some of the main factors that can affect us as to health and wellness or our business, and I do get into this in my intuitive work, but some of the major things is that we have a fear of failure and we get paralyzed. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
I've certainly have been paralyzed many times at work, and then you're not taking those risks. Something can happen to you. You're not taking the risk that you need to take. We can have some really bad self-beliefs about us, and then we're not taking those steps to move ahead. A lot of the times when I get into a scan, we might not have a clear vision or goal, like, why is this happening? And it can get confusing. And we have all this indecisiveness. And of course, we can get just overwhelmed. How many times have we not been overwhelmed? You can be an entrepreneur or working for somebody else. You just get in that, and I certainly can get into that franticness
Mhm.
and perfectionism. And you know what's a really big one for people? The imposter syndrome. We feel like we're being a fraud, so we don't deserve success. I think most of us can really relate to that. And I believe that what comes to us naturally, like what you're doing, Laura, and like everybody else here, what comes to us naturally, we think anybody can do it, really. We all have our gifts, and it's bringing out those gifts in other people. And when they know what those gifts are, getting them stronger, then let's create stronger boundaries so that we can bring it out.
Mhm.
Maybe those gifts are hidden, and there can be a lot of reasons for that. But that's one of the areas to look at. We can have we just got a lack of resilience. We've had so many setbacks, and we just feel we just can't bounce back.
Mm.
And then, of course, one last one, major one here, we get criticized. And if we're sensitive, it'd be like, oh no, somebody criticized me on Facebook. Or maybe it's a relative or a family member or friend. They don't get what you do and you can feel it. So there's so many things that can just keep our energy down. We're not, we're just not feeling empowered or maybe deserving to be empowered. So through the work that I do, which is a combination of so many things, so many cards, my healing work over the last, I don't know, about 22 years or more, I bring it all together. I do love the work of the belief work with Dr. Bradley Nelson,
Mhm.
pulling up things that people are going like, yeah, I didn't think I was holding on to that, but they can resonate with it. It's fun. I enjoy that. And then it's clearing it and bringing in some positivity and downloads just to know. I also work with a pendulum. I
Mhm.
actually got this in Mexico City. I was so excited. It was just like, creator, show me. I need to find a really good pendulum. And I got all the four archangels in here.
Beautiful.
They're engraved in my little pendulum. Anyways, I do DAOs, and there's various ways to work with energy. So yeah, that's about it.
So tell us more. I'm very curious. You named some beautiful examples that a lot of us feel as empaths and sensitives, as visionaries, creatives. We can go into times of overwhelm. We can go into times of feeling maybe like the imposter syndrome or the inner critic comes up very powerfully and is trying to keep us back in the box, so to speak. And so, what have you discovered around these sorts of real beliefs or real experiences that we've had in our lives? And how can we, what are some tips or what are some solutions that we can work with around our boundaries? For example, the criticism, the inner critic, right? And if we're sensitive, we may take that on as being ours because it's usually being projected onto us, right? But really, it doesn't necessarily mean. that's our belief or our stuff. It's coming from someone else. So let's talk a little bit about having healthy boundaries and what would that look like when the inner critic comes up, and how would you advise your clients in when they hear the inner critic and how to have healthy boundaries around that?
I encourage, and I do this with each and every client that I meet, typically on Zoom. It's really important to learn how to test, to muscle test, and or you learn to get your answers with a pendulum for a yes and a no. Because you're going to find out that maybe what you thought was yours, you're going to start asking some questions. Is this mine? I don't know. Did I absorb it? Was this a sabotage energy? Was it sent to me? And when you realize through and getting very strong, various ways to muscle testing, then maybe, Jay, you've absorbed somebody else's, it's going to help build your confidence. That has nothing to do with me. Now, we can pick up on, and it can be in our DNA, it can be in our maybe criticism in the blueprint of our body. It could be, it's always been there, but maybe that was picked up through on your mother's side and your father's side, and it goes down throughout the generations.
Mm.
So all of this accumulates, and from what happens, social media creates some PTSD. We all have levels of PTSD, whether we recognize it or not. And so that is one area I thought, why don't we just do a little clearing on that today?
Mhm.
And that would be one thing to look at is this PTSD, post-traumatic stress. Again, is it yours or did you absorb it? Are you sharing it? So that's one big area because PTSD can come in from so many directions that you may not have, you don't recognize it. It's just that you feel it. I know for myself, I can get triggered very easily. I just have to turn on the news for 1 minute, and it can be enough just to get that fight and flight energy going. So we can be picking up on PTSD from our partner, from our children. So that's really important. What I do in my one-to-one sessions is that I create an audio, personalized audio for the client, and just to help them to come back to that particular issue so that you can release layers of it. So when you're, for example, clearing out PTSD, if you test, it might be, oh gosh, yeah, I'm testing, I got 10% released. Awesome. Keep coming back to the audio and just clearing layers and further layers and layers. So there's many ways of going about it. But again, I guess just to summarize, it could be that you're absorbing somebody else's energy. And by learning the skill of muscle testing, various ways which children can do, and I guarantee that you will be able to do in a one-to-one session, that it really gives you that confidence that, oh yeah, this really isn't mine. It maybe it's from somebody else, or yes, I did pick it up. I
Mhm.
did pick up the energy. And it could be you picking up the energy. Maybe it's picked up when you went into Costco. Maybe you're picking up with somebody else that are all stressed out because they have to get whatever, and you're picking up on that and you think it's yours, and it becomes a vicious circle. So it's really powerful to identify, is it yours? Did you absorb it? Did you share it? And that's a really good basis. And then get into the work, start releasing what needs to be released, and learn to do that on your own. And there's certainly different methods that other person can learn to do that. Of course, we know about EFT, people know about EFT, the emotion code. There's a lot of techniques. out there. So
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And that's a great suggestion about using a pendulum or feeling into the body, feeling into the gut. Maybe I do teach in my womb course, how to use your womb as a pendulum if you don't have a physical pendulum, for example, or use the whole body. And I think these tools can make a difference for us because it seems like lately, with all the inner work that we have done, a lot of inner work for 30 years, for 25 years, 20 years, 10 years, 5, whatever it is. And it's interesting. One of the observations that I've been noticing is that I don't put myself in those physical realities. If we talk about a physical location, like we were talking about, if I go into a city, for example, like Paris, where there's a lot of people, a lot of energy, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of different auras, people in their bodies and their auras and their stuff. When you're intermeshing with all that, you're in a big city. To me, that's more challenging environment to hold a healthy boundary setting around myself or going into any public space, for example, a restaurant, a grocery store. And usually what I do when I go in is I immediately say to put my 22 shields of light up and love up so that I'm not absorbing, or I can have less chances of absorbing someone else's pain, emotions, or projections or whatever's going on. But the environment is really key. Whereas when I went to for example, the south of France, and I was there in an environment where there was no 3G, there was no 4G, and there was no 5G. And
wow,
automatically my body, she responded and she actually relaxed, and I did a detox that.
wow.
And that's how intelligent our body wisdom, our womb wisdom, our heart wisdom is. And I could literally relax. And I didn't realize, of course, going on an airplane, going in the airport is one of the most toxic places you can be today. And it's great what you're talking about, these tips, because we can't completely avoid these environments. We're in a modern culture. We all have to go to work every day. Like you talked about being in corporate 30 years. I was also in a corporate environment for 35 years till I couldn't be in the corporate environment anymore. I couldn't be in the energy of enmeshment anymore because we're talking about enmeshment of energies where people don't know that they're enmeshing other people's with other people's auras all day long, and they're getting reactions and they're taking in energies that are not theirs because they don't understand the concept of healthy boundaries. But even with understanding these concepts, and you can take these wonderful tips that you're giving us and you can use them, you can clear your energy field with selenite or a spray, or put up healthy boundaries, or bring in the light, or use the pendulum, or and all of these are beautiful tools that help us, right? Because we all still have to participate in life. We can't go over to the cave and be the guru sitting in the cave all day. It just won't work. But what are some of your experiences with your clients? Maybe have you noticed any patterns or trends with clients that may be still working in a 9 to 5 job in an office versus they're not working in it? Maybe they work from home, or anything like that's coming to mind, or coming up with real life examples that you can share with our audience and our community, that something that they need to know. This is what I'm noticing a pattern right now, just to be aware of, just to use some tips to help you to maintain healthy boundaries. Does that make sense?
That's a real tough one. And like you say, when your auras enmeshed, and it's really hard to know at the moment, is this like what's going on? Is this anxiety? Is it my anxiety? I think the people, for the honestly, the best thing to do is get as grounded as frequently as you need to. And if that means going outside in the cold, in the snow, but you're getting outside and you're getting the elements of that snow and the cold, just getting grounded. I can't think of anything better. than getting grounded. And if you need to do that throughout the day at work, you take your break, you get outside, or you go to the washroom to your cubicle and you do what you need to do because it's the intensity is not reducing in the world. Everything is levels are going up and up, as we know. And so the more that we know that's the case, what the world is going through this rebirthing, if you would like, then what can we do? And the more that we can work on us, you're going to automatically have an effect on your children, your adult children. I just had a client yesterday, and she was just beside herself, feeling like an awful mom. And being a mom myself, of an adult, we take on so much that we think is ours. And I kept saying, you know what? You got to make yourself number one. We've been told we're not number one. Women are always there making sure everybody's okay. Everything is okay. Make yourself number one as hard as that is. And when you do that, and then let go, let God, that your child, your children, your spouse, they're automatically going to receive benefit from you making yourself number one, taking care of you. That is a huge boundary issue. Absolutely huge because we have been so ingrained that we're not there to take care of everybody else. It's generational. But I guarantee when you start making yourself number one, and not in a nasty way, but more of assertive, no, this isn't right for me, and not having to get into great length about why that is, that people will back off. They may distance themselves. You may lose friends. You may lose family members. And I think for all of us, we have experienced that most likely within the last number of years, because we are coming in more and more into alignment of who we are.
Mhm.
It certainly has been for myself. And that's so like with my clients. So getting back to how do you protect yourself?
Mhm.
I'm going to say you do your best. If you feel like out of sorts
Mhm.
and maybe you're not feeling well, then I'm going to say get away from the situation. If you have an opportunity to get outside, or if you can't get into the stairwell, have some space to yourself and
Yeah.
then do some basic. There's some excellent tools that you don't have to be an expert in, and just calming down your nervous system. I'm a medical intuitive as well. So we can check, is it the nervous system out of whack? Do I need to, let's just create a really good, strong audio for you to just release all that stress that where your nervous system is out of whack. There's a lot of areas we can go. Again, you don't have to be the expert. Tools are free, they're out there, and just start knowing that it's up to you to make yourself priority. And by doing that, you are instantaneously helping your family or friends or at work with maybe they don't realize it, they don't need to, but just that when you do, as a mother, that female energy, you're supporting everyone around you.
Absolutely. And that I love that, Brenda. That was so powerful and so much wisdom. We have to put ourselves first. We have to do the self-care and the self-priority, which is not selfish. And it all starts with that, and that's having healthy boundaries. And as we do that more and more, we teach that to our children and our adult children and our grandchildren. That is setting a real, to me, a real setup for change through your ancestry and through the DNA of your familiar lineage. And I've seen this in my own life with my mother played a role, and then I did certain changes and I did certain healthy boundaries, and then that goes, and then my daughters also. And it's like you can change the whole dynamics of your lineage, your DNA, and generational trauma can be healed in this way. And it's very powerful what you're sharing and what you're saying. And to start to take responsibility to me means a different response. A response of where maybe before I used to be a people pleaser and I used to say yes when I didn't really mean yes, and I was out of integrity with myself. And now standing up for myself and standing up as a woman, and all women beginning to stand up, and more women that stand up, we give each other permission to stand up and be sovereign, and we give each other permission and courage to say, no, this is my body. You can't
Mm,
put something on my body. You can't force me to do something with my
mhm,
body that is sovereign that I do not want to do. You do not have that right, because this body is a sacred vessel and a sacred temple. And that to me is so important, because we talked about the importance of grounding into the body, grounding into all the chakras, grounding into every inch of our body, grounding into, so that we can become the vessel for holding the light. What light? The light of our I am light, our I am energy, right? Not other people's pain and emotions and beliefs and all the things that we see every day, and influencing people on their choices, actually influencing how well they can tap into their clarity, their intuition. So I just want to stop here for a minute and welcome in everyone who joined us. And Brenda's going to be taking some questions. And if you want to start thinking about any questions you might have for Brenda, feel free to go ahead and type those in the chat box, or we can also open up for you just giving those to us directly here in a minute. Brenda, when would you like to do your process with us, your meditation?
I think this would be a very good time
Okay.
to do it now.
Okay, great.
So, what I'm going to be doing, we're going to be doing some uh, clearing out some aspects of ourself from various lifetimes that can be causing PTSD, where we're not feeling safe anymore. And for those of you that do muscle tests, and I'm curious, you could even type in, if you do, what percentage of PTSD am I currently holding in my system? It's a fun thing to check. And then you can go back after we do this clearing. Oh, what percentage do I have remaining that's hidden, that never wants to be found? So if you do muscle tests and you can test percentages. That is a great confirmation to see and feel the changes, or maybe you just sense, oh no, it's gone down or whatever. So I'm just throwing that out. So I'm going to begin, and I'm going to be start here now. There can be aspects of ourselves in various lifetimes that can cause PTSD, and we realize that we're not safe. Now, we could be blaming God, and we could just be in that fight and fight energy, but it can be generational, and it can affect us, and it can be part of that, not fear, not worthy, not good enough. There can be so much. There can be genetic trauma and sex abuse and physical abuse. Anywhere where we're not feeling safe, where we're not able to express ourselves, where we had to swallow our anger, and we feel like a failure, and so many emotional blocks. Emotional blocks may not feel safe to step into the power of our finances, to be authentic. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to be doing a clearing, and we're just going to be connecting with Creator. So getting that connection with Creator now. So just have a deep breath, relax. We're allowing healing for all parts that are ready to be healed, for the parts of our being to be safe, heard, protected, guidance. We now allow divine divinity to come on board. We allow healing for all parts ready to be healed, for the parts of our being to be safe, heard, protected, guided. Sha lakia pokosha takashvianai, lakia pokokoshekta, shakakashveliaka, sikia pakoya shana nania. Poshata, Leki Bakash, Steposhia Danaya, Lekia Pokoshia Takasaya, Shuata, Lekia, Manana, Yaka, Shakobora Kianai, Sepia Shotokoya, Sikasha, Lakia Pokosha, Nanada Kiata Pokoya Data, Shaposhiata, Liakokosh Bakai, Shanaya. Our mind, body, heart, and spirit are now receiving new information, whether we believe it or not, whether we feel it or not. Shakaya lakia bakokshana naya lakokishpakieta. Shakira bakashokoya. Shakaki papakishkana naya laki bokoye bokia seka. Shakra papaketa bokishaka. Shakapaketa bokoshaki papaketa papakisha papa. Shakragi, shakragi, papaketa koko. Shakragi, shakra. Shakapaketa papaketa papaketa shakra komishaka. Shakragi papaketa bokishka. Shakishka papaketa 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 koko. We're now allowing new pathways in our brain to be informed. Basha lakia bakokosha sanaya, yakia bakakida bakokosha lakia yakakia dabakia. We now understand that we are healing throughout all of our history, all of our ancestral lineage, healing our core beliefs, our cellular beliefs, our soul history. We're now healing throughout all of our consciousness, including the original beliefs from all events, all past lifetimes, simultaneous lives, and future experiences. Shalakia nananya bokurishakia Shusakaitai, Oshana Hayata Koishe, Lekakushata, Siaka, Hoshana Lakia, Oshiakaira Korean. Shed Lakia Pakoshanaya Bakaisanaya. We're grateful that all of this is healing and releasing now. We thank all involved, including ourselves and the universe. We are grateful, and so it is. Shalakia naya bakoshe, lakia bakana nai, siya kaire koisha, yeta bakaya, suasha, la koshiana, oshia lakia bakaya. Take a deep breath in, blow it out.
Beautiful.
Knowing you can come back.
Okay. Thank you, Brenda. Very powerful. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Wow, I feel so much
Welcome.
clearer and lighter. Thank you.
Yeah.
Such a good a good clearing on PTSD that we've all experienced. Everyone has that for sure in common. So let me just scoot over here to the questions. And from
Okay.
Jennifer, hi, Brenda. Glad you're back online after your own adventures from Jennifer in Kansas City.
Oh,
Um, so thank you so much, Jennifer, for that beautiful comment and welcome. Light My says, thank you, Brenda. Happy to see you, Light My. Thank you for joining us. And if anyone has any questions or would like to ask Brenda an intuitive question or insight about maybe something about your health, something about your business, something about your own boundaries, feel free to raise your hand and we can unmute you and bring you in, or type your question in the chat box. While we're doing that, why don't we go ahead and move to your special offer, Brenda, that we have for our audience
okay.
today. Would you like to go over that, or how would you?
Sure. Let's go over that while people may want to type in. So we've come up with a package of audios. And as I mentioned, I create audios for almost all the work that I do in the one-to-ones. But for this package A, our brains need to be in balance. And so this is the brain gland balance audio to help release some of that past life trauma, that fight and flight energy that I've mentioned. And there's also a portion there to download the hormones, some good hormones that your brain glands require. Second audio is my energetic. It's not physical, it's the energetic parasitic imprint. So this is to help clear out the energetic parasitic imprint. Now, just so you may wonder, well, what does energetic mean? So we can have the physical parasite, but we can have the energy of that mold or whatever in our system. And it could be that it's from previous lifetimes. So it's the energetic parasitic imprint. The next one is the no will to. Whether we may want to admit it or not, we may be holding on to, as an example, no will to live, no will to thrive, no will to move ahead. So what I've done is gathered in all of these no will tos in my process, and just to help you clear out generational no will to forgive self or to receive abundance. So every time you listen, you're going to just releasing layers and layers of that no will to, and just knowing with intention, oh, I want this to help my children or my ancestors. You're helping everyone. So every time you listen, you're just releasing further and further layers. And the last one that included for this package A is persecution. Who hasn't been persecuted? So this is to help clear hidden layers of persecution energy. So maybe you haven't been, but I'm sure on your mother's side and your father's side, someone's been persecuted. You can't help but have that in your system. So this is a good one because we've been persecuted and we're going through no will tos, or there's some our brains on it. There's a lot of reasons why you may not be moving ahead as quickly as you would like to in your business. So this is giving you samples and ways of this helps. So this is helping. And every time you're clearing, it's helping you get more stronger as to your boundaries. And then when you're clear as to your boundaries, you're going to notice some things happening. You're going to notice, oh, somebody got in contact with me. I don't know where they came from. I don't know how they found me, but awesome. They're coming to you. So every time we do these clearings, it's helping in a way you may not be able to put your finger on it. So that's package A. And then we came up with, I got a package B. So the package B is also includes the package A. And this is like I do 60-minute one-to-one sessions. And I do And depending how things go, I try to keep it to 60. If I need to go a bit over, I'm quite generous with my time. And we go as far as we can go. Energetically, you might go, I'm tapped out. And we go, yeah, we know we're tapped out. We go as far as we can go. It could be that there is, for example, I'm just going to give you an example. It could be that you've got some trauma in your system. Perhaps there's a physical pathogen. Now, I've been trained in pathogenics in the UK, so I am quote certified to test the top 350. So I can go and test, oh, there's some adenovirus, or that could be in your system. You had no idea that you're holding on to, or maybe it's the energy, but not the actual physical. So, and that's one of the areas that we can go to. There may be a misalignment. Maybe it's in your skeleton system. Maybe it's in your axial system, and maybe it's in your thoracic cage. So as you can see, a lot of areas to go to. We don't know, we don't need to know all the answers. I get connected to creator back down to me, good and strong, good, strong connection. Call on assistance from God is what I call in assistance from God. Get that direct connection, clear of any entities or anything that might be trying to pull down our energies. Then we get into a session. So that's the one-to-one. And then I'd love to do my little audio that's personalized for you that you can refer to. So outside of the Zoom replay that you're going to have your little audio in the package B as well. It's personalized for you for whatever issues going on, and knowing that this is something you can refer to and come back again. Plus, of course, in the package B, you get all those audios in package A. So you'd have a number of audios. So I love to teach as part of what I do. I'm a coach, and this is, I just gravitated to that. If you're not sure about the whole muscle testing thing, I guarantee you will be muscle testing in a call. So it's fun.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Brenda. And I just put into the chat for anyone, you can go to my website, lauramavenstar.com. If you go to at the top menu, you'll see podcast. Click on that. You'll see speaker offers tab, and you'll see Brenda's two offers. Her package offer A is only $77 for these amazing audios. And I think your topics are very unique and very much needed there. I have never heard anyone offering those before, Brenda. And then on offer B is $197. There is a single pay or a two pay option if you need two payments with the private session and personal light language healing audio just for you from Brenda. So I do have a question from Like My, but I think she just had to pop off. Let's see here. Her question was, hi, Brenda. I'm venturing out into the online business world of marketing.
Mm,
Could I potentially get a clearing for clarity and direction on this new venture?
okay, so my question would be, get it guided because I'm getting that there's some beliefs in there of that kind of holding you back. And now I'm going to be checking in. So what was, yeah, when we step into a new venture, it can be somewhat intimidating. Believe me, we probably both, Laura and myself, have gone through this many times. But I'm just going to be checking in, and I'm going to be checking what belief are you holding on to at a subconscious level that you may be hesitant or not strong for getting onto your own adventure. Am I correct in saying that? What is your question?
Her question was, could I potentially get a clearing for clarity and direction
Oh,
on this new venture?
clarity.
Yeah, just
Okay,
clarity on her going into the
clarity.
business world of marketing, online business
Okay.
marketing.
Okay. So I'm just going to be asking, getting connection with creator. Yes. So now I'm going to be asking for, is it Jennifer
It's like my,
or Light My? Sorry, Light My. Okay. getting that connection with like my yes. So I'm asking for assistance here. And what do we need to, what is like my holding on to the unknowingly that could be blocking her from that clarity? Okay. So I'm getting this whole the whole area of power needs to be looked at. And when I check within that, so we need more clarification, what in particular, and I'm asking, okay, so I'm sorry if you see me opening my mouth, I just do that automatically. But she's holding on to some belief, a negative belief about her ability. Now I'm going to be drilling down. I love saying that word because I used to work in the oil and gas industry. We were always drilling down in this energetic world. What could it be that she's holding on to? So I'm just asking the question now. I'm muscle testing what that is. Okay. Okay. So this is what's coming through for you, Light May. Is like no one thinks I can do it. No one thinks I can do it. Well, wouldn't that bring your energies down? When I check in, no one thinks I can do it. I'm going to be checking in. Is this something that you absorbed? Not getting a sharing. Oh, I'm getting not that I'm getting more like a saboteur energy sent to you. I'm just going to tell you what pops up. So it's not that you're even sharing this with someone. It's this has been a sabotage sent to you. So when I check in, what is this sabotage energy that it's almost and I am going to say because I do look at that, I'm getting more uh, an entity. And we can pick those up, but they can be sent to us, unfortunately. And that can just be basically from who we are and where we've been. And okay, I'm going to tell you what's coming up, and I'm not going to question it, but I'm getting some reptilian energy that's been sent your way. So what I'm going to suggest is that we do a clearing for this reptilian energy. So we're going to do that now. And for people that listen to this at a later date, you may resonate with this or not, just knowing there are entities, and we know that there are. And it's just, okay, instead of being fearful of them, they're there. There's the dark and the light. Just okay, let's just move ahead and do a query. So what we're going to be doing, and this is for an um, Archon reptilian clearing. So for May, and for anybody else here, so we're asking to disengage from this reptilian entity. And we're asking to please go through and devoid and delete all contracts, promises, agreements, oaths, vows, swearings, obligation. And anywhere where your body is resonating with that frequency and vibration of that reptilian entity, we're asking please to close all portals, gateways, access ways, dissolve, dismantle, disentangle now. Shapakia nanaya roko shea tapapakia to kokoshetia. Bokokashala kia na hai hai boko hai shetia. Lokurushia nana lakia posheta siakai. So anywhere where your body is resonating with that frequency, asking dissolving it now. Okay, let's just strengthen you to being strong and in divine order, protected. You're getting a good swing. I'm holding on to it. I'm not making it swing. It's guiding. At the same time, usually there's a release at my end. Okay, so that is one thing that's coming up. And I would definitely suggest to get in touch with me if you're guided and continue down that road. I do know, and I used to do interviews myself, and I have them on my website. And I remember there years ago, I interviewed someone who was an author of a book on entities, and I did get shut down. I had a huge attack on the air. I had a really difficult time, and I just managed to push the button to stop the whole interview. And I was out of my body. I had to have several people work on me. So they do exist. The key is to, like with Laura, like raise your frequency and vibration as much as possible. And
Mhm.
as we talked about earlier, do what you can do. Bring in your angels and your guides and do your levels of protection as much as possible. And if you
Yes,
have to remind yourself throughout the day, however you do that, elastic band or whatever, do what you can do and not to dismiss it because they don't want you to know they're there.
exactly. Mm.
So just keep that in mind, and it is what it is. We do our best,
Mhm.
but this is what came up just for obviously a very quick
Mm.
one on the call today. Yeah.
Thank you, Brenda. That was a powerful clearing. I could really feel it at very deep levels. Thank you so much. Very, very grateful. Light My did have to go, but that she did leave this comment. I must run. We'll check out her offers on your website. Thanks for hosting as always. The series, great offers too. Brenda loving the number of personal audios along with her offers. My regards to Brenda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I know Like My will listen to the replay to get that information for her specifically and for everyone else who resonates with this. It's all applicable. You can tune into it and receive that clearing and deep, beautiful clarity and healing as well. So thank you so much for that, Brenda. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation, Brenda. So much deep. We could go even deeper with this and would love to have you come back again and dive even deeper into this whole very important topic today about having healthy boundaries around your personal field, around your business, because it's all related, right? It's all interrelated. Wherever we go in our personal lives, in our business, and all our relations, everything goes with us. So, any final words of wisdom or tips you want to leave with our audience today before we close our call?
I can't overemphasize that when we get clear on the boundaries and we give ourselves permission to have boundaries, that's actually number one. How many of us go, no, it's not, that would be very nice for me to stand, just say no, or oh, it's always been my role in the dynamics to be the helper, to be there when they need help. And meanwhile, your energies are getting drained. I I have to set limits. Like, no, I'm not there to every time you need some help to jump in and be there to, because that's how I used to operate. That's how I had that was my identity. And oh, I was the helper. I was the nice one. You know what? It doesn't work. So you can still be the nice one, but in assertive way and protect your boundaries in an assertive, loving way. It's not aggressive, being a bag, but just in that, no, this isn't right for you. and being strong. And if there's reasons that you feel like, but Brenda, I just can't. There's something blocking me. This is what I do. I'll come in and see. Because you know what? Those lack of boundaries could be affecting your small intestine, as an example. So it could be you're not digesting as well as you could be because this energetic ba these boundaries aren't strong. It all works together. You just can't, if I just work on this, my whole body will be good. It's all working together. So you need the intestine to feel it deserves to, for things to move along, to assimilate, to release and let go, as an example. So it's giving yourself permission is just, I can't overemphasize. I'm a baby boomer. I feel like, okay, I'm still around after I mentioned these times, and I have to speak up. And I'm doing this for me. And I know that by doing this for me, I'm affecting other people, and I want people to do it for themselves. Be that voice that maybe was held back before, and staying in that power so that people, maybe they don't initially like it because that's not who you were, but they'll adjust. And if not, then maybe things go the way they go. Just saying.
That is so true. Thank you so much. And it's a good thing. I want people to understand that setting healthy boundaries, when you give yourself permission to do that, and you begin to really come into this better relationship with your own body temple, your own emotions, all of it, your spiritual, your mental, your physical, your psyche, and you start to hold that really strong boundary of healthy emotions, you are now beginning to model to everyone in your family, your friends, your community, hey, it's actually very beneficial, and it's a very loving and respectful thing and high integrity to hold ourselves in these beautiful new spaces and new ways of healthy boundaries. The codependency drops away, the sovereignty comes in, and we begin to become beautiful, powerful manifestors. And I like to say, shine our goddess light into the world and really begin to be the change and bring forth the positive, loving solutions, the peaceful solutions we all want, right? And thank you so much, Brenda, for sharing your beautiful energy, your beautiful wisdom. Thank you so much for all the inner work that you've done, all the wonderful experiences you shared with us today. Very powerful. And to see you shining your priestess light in the world, we do appreciate that and are in a lot of gratitude. And I want to thank everyone for being here today. Please, if you do resonate with Brenda and or any of the other speakers, please check out my website for these beautiful special offers that they're bringing to you to help you on your priestess pathway, your spiritual journey to become the best version of you, I like to say, or to begin to shine your light and to help you to come into a new world of more joy, more love, more beauty, more compassion, more peace, or whatever it is that your heart is guiding you. So thank you so much for being with us today on the Goddess Radio live show. We are here every Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And if you did enjoy this show today, please like and share with others. I'll send it out later to the community email, and it will also be posted in my online community, the Goddess Groove Online, and I'll also be sharing it to my YouTube community as well. So thank you again so much, everyone, for being here. Sending everyone a big hug and namaste. Blessed be to you till next time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.